also touch base with our team in Prague, who is getting ready for the most amazing event in Europe at the end of this year, the Prague Catalyst. And last but not least, we'll touch base a little bit on all our upcoming things right here in the RH Jam. And welcome back. That was a short break with a logo. I love that logo. So I want to let you know here that if this is the first time you've joined us here at the RH Jam, we are all about anything and everything that has to do about reconnective healing, but equally important about topics that we know are very important to you as well as they are to us. We hope that through these conversations, this jamming of ideas and concepts, we can help you find answers for yourself and perhaps allowing yourself the change that you are seeking in your own life. And all of this, thank you to the Reconnective Healing Frequencies. Now, I'd like to let you know as well that you don't need to miss a single one of our episodes. All you need to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll always know when we're going live. Plus, we will send you a note to let you know that the replay is happening and whatnot. We're good that way. Okay, I'm going to jump right into it because this is a subject that has affected me personally for the better part of my childhood and most of my adult life. And it's this concept about giving and receiving. Now, the way that I was brought up, the idea of receivership or receiving was very much tied up with a concept of deserving to receive something. Now, there are the things that have to do with the, I understand as an adult now, right? The morals and ethics of receiving things that perhaps before you in our human day-to-day give and take, right? But at some point along the way as well, as a child, as somebody growing up, developing, I developed my own perception about what was okay to receive versus what wasn't. So as I grew older, I noticed that I would become very uncomfortable if somebody tried to pay me a compliment of any kind. I would be also very resistant, even rejecting offers for help, to help me out, to support me in any way, to even sometimes remuneration. Yes, even money. And that's what I love so much, is amazing graphic that the team has put up with me for me. Just lovely hands giving out some money. Let me make it a bit larger so you can see what I mean. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. But anyway, I'm sure you can see it. There's these hands coming out and they have all these coins on top. I had a lot of trouble trying to understand that there is no shame in receiving money for gifts or services. And this is something that, particularly if maybe you are, like I found myself, well on the path of being a healer, of wanting to be of help, I found myself in a constant contradiction between what the gift of being able to help others is versus receiving some sort of remuneration or fair exchange for it. But that is a really big conversation that I would love for us to maybe converse on in a different episode, because here we are going to be tackling some other concepts that affect us when it comes to the giving and receiving. But if you like to continue this conversation regarding fair exchange, and if you're a healer and having trouble with that, let us know in the chat, because one of the things we do is that we take a look and we are following everything that you type here for us. Keep them coming, because that's what lets me know what is it that is important to you guys, okay? So going back to our amazing topic, and I need to change my screen again. Here is one of the things that we don't stop to think about when we reject an offering. Could it be perhaps that what we are encountering in this behavior besides the fact that perhaps you also underwent some sort of inner perception of what receivership looks like for you, right? Like I did. Could it be also something to do with control? Now, the reason I mentioned that is that when we are giving, we are in control. We are actually determining how we give, what we give, when we give, the color of the wrapping, whichever way we want to shape whatever it is that we're giving. When we're receiving, we're in that passive mode. And in that certain respect, it may be that we find ourselves thinking that we are losing control. I know it sounds bizarre if somebody's trying to give you a bunch of flowers or buy you a cup of coffee, and and it may be one of those quirky reactions we carry inside that we have not maybe internalized in a way that is brought up to our consciousness. That why are the things that make us tick and make us reject something that is being offered. Another thing that when I started looking into this, that I also posted in the in my description below, is that why do we resist the gift? You see, if somebody's giving you something, and the same way if you're giving something, in that reciprocality, right? There is a connection that happens. And I'm wondering sometimes if, particularly now in this era of virtual connections, if the actual physical interaction of receiving things or being paid a compliment might not be also a way of us not feeling too confident or comfortable in making real connections. Is to receive, you're accepting something, which leads me to another thought that I want to share with you. In that receiving and rejecting something that is being offered, could it be that we're also not wanting to become attached? Meaning, oh no, I just received a freaking book. Now I need to give a gift back. Now, how am I going to do that? Or another uncomfortable situation, I just love that shirt you're wearing. And the person is smiling and you feel you're supposed to give a compliment back, but you have nothing really that you feel you can give back there. And it just creates a sense of conflict in which you feel that you're going to say something that may be not true, but the other person might like to hear. That in itself would probably create a little bit of controversy within what your sense of truth is. And eventually you may feel that it's best not even to receive anything or to give, because then you put the other person on the hook. Just give you something back. And again, rolls back into that whole idea of controlling what is it that is given and what is it that it is being received. There's so many more layers to this topic, and that's what I can't wait for Kelly to jump on board later on, because he has a few items that he wants to share with you. Plus, so that you guys know, this is based on an amazing blog that Corey Reston wrote for us last week called The 5 Keys of Receivership. I've put the link down there and you gotta check it out because it is super powerful. And I'm just gonna skim over these 5 keys a little bit towards the end of the program, which really, I read it and it inspired me to look a little bit deeper into how just in a relationship we have with giving and receiving may actually be working behind the scenes, and we are not even aware that is influencing how we behave with one another. And that's why it affects our relationships, because we may not be fully aware that we're not connecting, hinging on this whole reciprocality of the giving and receiving. But first, I want to show you something truly amazing that's going on in Prague. And I'm going to change now screen, so give me a second. All right, I'm getting good at this. So, guys, Prague is happening tomorrow. It's a huge program, 6 languages, gazillion people, it's a huge hall, and I wanted to share with you this amazing graphic here that was provided by Gillian Fleer herself. And in here we can see how to basically pan out all of these multitude of languages and peoples coming in. Everything is going to be color coordinated. and it's going to be an amazing job of not only relaying and teaching and practicing with the training that they're going to be receiving at this catalyst, but also an expansion of how these frequencies actually communicate without words. This is going to be so interesting to watch. And I've already asked a few people, you gotta send me some videos. So next week we'll have some really cool videos of people playing with the frequencies at this program. This is such an amazing undertaking. I want to share with you as well one of the beautiful graphics they've created for the people coming on board. It's a Oh well, that did not work out with the sound. But it's okay. All I wanted to show to you is that we have all these 6 languages going on at the same time, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to have Czech and English and French and Romanian and Croatian and Russian. And I'm so sorry, guys, if you didn't sign up for it, it's too late. I asked them this morning and I said, Eric and Jillian, there is still any openings? And they said, nope, we're full capacity. So at the end of the program, I'll list other programs that maybe you want to join us for in the remaining of the 2019 and maybe in 2020. But for the time being, hasta mañana, Prague. Prague starts tomorrow and it lasts all the way into Sunday evening. Now, also for a quick visit with our Eric and Jillian. They're in Prague, of course, getting ready. Here is Jillian with Vladimir Eckert. And one of the things that we love about what we do is that when we get to travel around the world, we get to hang out with our tribe, with our community, wherever we go. And this time around, Eric and Jillian had the great pleasure of spending a weekend with Vladimir and his family. Here's Eric with Vladimir's cat, and Jillian and the family. Vladimir's wife Ivana cooked a feast. Sons Lucas and Vladimir were also there. Teresa, his daughter, oldest daughter, was also helping out, and they hung out with baby girl Valentina. Yes, they got to feel the frequencies because that is what we do. You give us any excuse, and we will definitely start feeling the frequencies with you. And if you allow yourself, you may also start feeling them for yourself. So that's what one of the cool things that we do here. And let's get back to that topic of giving and receiving. I really love that R. I love how it turns. Any case, so can we connect? We left it out at, is it a connection situation at the core of our idea of what receiving and giving is? And here's what I want to bring into the conversation, because we know that when we're talking about energy healing in general, I'm just going to make a quick comparison here. And if you've never heard of Reconnective Healing, this is the first time you're hearing about what what Reconnective Healing is. It is an energy-based approach. It's an approach to healing and transformation. And it's not receivership as we would understand it when it comes to modalities, since it isn't a modality. So receivership in reconnective healing does not have the correct characteristics of receiving and giving that you have in our day-to-day relationships as we discussed. It has simply with us having the ability, we are born with this ability, it's a matter of just tapping onto it, of being receivers. Now, I love this image, and thank you again, Madison Holland and Taylor Holland, for just creating this amazing spread of images for me to just use. I love it. Okay, now we have the right image, right? We have a person who is just simply connected and has all these energy coming in and out. As far as we can see, this person is doing absolutely nothing to be in this connection. And that is the amazing thing about reconnective healing. Because truly, we become more like the receiver aspect of what a radio does. There is no other layering of understanding of receivership but that of just being able to receive an energy signal in this case. And I want to show you another amazing one. This is just a one-on-one connection that you can see is just receivership. They're not doing anything, they're not getting themselves in any particular state. It's just the ability to step out of the way and outside of our concepts of what receiving and giving are, and just allowing ourselves to be more like Bluetooth, like pairing with one another, without the need of the judgment that comes through, oh, should I be receiving this? Oh, should I be sending this? And guess what? There's no sending in reconnective healing either. So this is again one of those aspects of the conversation that we're going to be taking up right now with Kelly as a bringer aboard. As I said before, Kelly Woodruff is not only one of our associate instructors in the Reconnection, he is also a team coach for our upcoming Ignite event in December. He's an artist. He is also a yoga master. And you know what? I'm just going to let him introduce himself. It's spring now. Kelly, and I'm going to change my screen. And here we are with Mr. Kelly Woodruff. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
And I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now that I have you here on the show, you've been traveling very recently throughout Africa, I hear.
I was in Africa. I was on safari. I had some amazing experiences. I played with the frequencies a lot with the animals, which was really amazing to see what that was like and how they responded to that. It was a remarkable time.
Wow. And you know what? And one thing that I made a note to myself, I would love for you to come back on the program and tell us more about frequencies and animals. As you know, and one of the reasons I think this subject is so important for you to shed some light on, is this relationship that we have with receiving and giving. I was talking about self-worth, and I was talking about perhaps our resistance, our conflict when it comes to receivership. Tell us your experience of receivership.
Well, and I mean, I think that, like with everything in life, reconnective healing and interacting with these frequencies gives you an entirely new perspective. When we talk about receivership, as far as reconnective healing, when we are actually doing the session, we are receiving, not sending. So I think that that concept is something that we can really carry out throughout the entire process of our lives of being in this state of receivership, and the giving that happens in return. Just again, like in reconnective healing, it becomes this sort of two-way street, right? So if we're talking about receivership in relationship to the acceptance of self-value and what we receive while we're doing the session, that's one conversation that's very relatable to receivership as far as, material things that we might be in receivership for, actually doing the session or our fair exchange. So it's a very interesting topic to me because I find that the truth of the matter is the only conflict that really happens between receiving and giving is our construct, the constructs that we have made in our minds. I think going back to doing the healing session itself, so many people have entered into classic energy healing modalities with the idea that we have to send something, that we have to give, that we have to send. So when we reframe our role as reconnective healing practitioners of being both the sender and the receiver, the observer and the observed, then that sets up automatically the ebb and flow of the universe, this ebb and flow, which is the natural state of the universe. So if we continue to keep that theme of ebb and flow, then we understand that in our lives, as we are reconnective healing practitioners, part of what our job is to be in receivership from our clients for fair exchange so that we can continue to be in that ebb and flow give. Does this resonate with you? Is this around what you're talking about?
I think that what you bring up is something really important because there is I think that that conflict that sometimes we feel, whether it's in a reconnective healing session or in life, about receiving something, as you say, in fair exchange, stems from some understanding of what is the worth of self, my own worth. That am I worthy to be receiving this, for example, money in a fair exchange, and this item, this gift? Is it something that I deserve? And that's one word that is so loaded, but truly we use it so many times internally, and we apply it to so many things. Tell me something about Kelly before Reconnective Healing. What was your relationship with receiving and giving before you
Interesting.
encountered it?
It's interesting because, I have always been associated with careers, interestingly enough, that have a very subjective price tag on them. It's an interesting arc for me personally. I was an actor before, as you know, I was a performing artist. And then I transitioned from being a performing artist into being a creative person, being a designer. And it's very interesting because I think that this particular issue of being in receivership for our worth was probably something that I needed to, that I came in with to learn. Because as an actor, automatically you question your own value and what you are worth for people to pay you doing this thing that you do hopefully well and love. But there's always that question of what is the value of an actor, right? That people, that in life. I mean, people imagine, and the range of that and how one looks at oneself as a performing artist, particularly starting out, can be a really rocky road. And then the same thing happens as a designer, because it's very easy for people, clients, customers, to forget sometimes the value of what we bring in our intellectual property, right? So this whole entire arc of receiving and being in fair exchange based on the value of what we're giving has been something that I think that I've been working with and working on my entire life. And I have to tell you that when I became a Reconnective Healing practitioner and really began to soak in the philosophy of the work, my outlook shifted. And, I am very, very blessed to be in a level of abundance that allows me to have a wonderful life. And I really think that this issue, or this this lesson around self-worth and value has really grown and shifted for me. And I really think that for the most part, although it's not perfect, I still get reminders every now and then. For most part, I'm willing to step forward into the room and say, we need to be in exchange for this to be brought forward at the highest level, whatever that part of my life is, whether it's doing a session or whether it's presenting a design or whatever. So I think that, again, I go back to this ebb and flow. Many of the masters, of the great masters, have recognized that this ebb and flow, this infinity sign that I'm tracing, is a very, very specific key to the universe. It's a universal law. And so when we understand that, I believe that, things really do shift. The learning that most of us received as children about the invaluable self, if you will, in other words, the opposite of the value of the self, the devalued self, I guess I should say. I think that's something that in Western culture, patriarchal societies kind of set up, this is just my opinion, but sort of set up to kind of keep people under control. So, the idea that if you could get something done for cheaper and it was still okay, then it was all right to exploit people to do work and whatnot. So that's shifting. That's shifting in the world, just like the rest of the world is shifting. And I think that as honestly, as Reconnective Healing practitioners, we have sort of a duty to be on the forefront of standing up and recognize our own self-worth and our own part of the equation, and to be sure that this ebb and flow does be a continuum in the equation of not just the healing session, but our lives.
I am in so agreement with you about how this ebb and flow It's there. It's attainable. It is really the course of everything that is. It is us, like you said. It's our perception. It's this how our mind interrupts our process of really observing where we are. And I have to agree too that the world is waking up. They're seeing that there's abuse, perhaps. The people, in the sense that we instill in them a sense that they need to deserve things, that they are not worthy enough for other things. We keeping them, and by doing that, and I think this is the ironic part, we're doing that to ourselves too, but it comes back to us because the moment we start airing out that type of judgment and that type of intention out there, well, obviously that's exactly how we're in many ways viewing ourselves. I heard you say Reconnective Healing Practitioner, Kelly. Tell me about that journey, because I know, and I was fortunate and blessed to see you in action in April in Palm Springs when you gave morning reconnective yoga classes. Yes, guys, Mr. Kelly Woodruff is a yoga master.
I don't think I'm a yoga master. I'm
Well, I
just a
think you
student,
are.
Ana. But you know, we have over the years have been developing and continue to develop and experiment with and expand the concept of reconnective yoga. And really, it's a very simple, very easily explainable process whereby we simply introduce the reconnective healing frequencies into a yoga practice. I mean, I have a regular yoga practice. After these years and all the years of being a reconnective healing practitioner, it's not so often anymore that I have to consciously stop and bring the frequencies in, because I find that they switch on when they need to. So when we teach a reconnective yoga class, we in essence give our students the opportunity and the prompts and the reminders and the sort of different suggestions of ways that they can bring the frequencies into their asana, or vinyasa, or whatever we're doing at the time. It's really super fun. Everybody always has a great time. It's a wonderful way to wake up during in the morning during our Ignite program in Palm Springs, which we're doing again in December. So we're looking forward to bringing that forward. We might even be doing, I hear rumor that we might be doing more than one class a day there. So yeah, we're excited about that.
As you were talking, a series of photos that we took of your class in Palm Springs, that was so awesome, guys. I have to confess, I have never been a yoga person in my entire life, but Kelly inspired me to take it up. It was such a change for me, and I have to credit both Kelly's enthusiastic approach to yoga, reconnective healing, and everything in life. It really, I saw the change in me, and I want to thank you, Kelly. It inspired me. I can't wait with what you're bringing on board this December, because I know not only the classes are going to be there, I've heard not only about doing two, but also about very special meditations and hikings that have to do exactly with this whole concept of receivership, receiving, and being in the frequencies.
Yeah, you know, we have just finished our first Living in the Frequencies online 10-week forum, as you know. And in that 10 weeks, we really spent with our students who joined us on that forum. We really spent these 10 weeks exploring all the different ways that the frequencies integrate into our lives. So while we're at the Ignite program in December, what we're going to do is we're going to have several different segments that are going to be sort of little, I want to say, tastings based on this 10-week Living in the Frequency series. We had some amazing, amazing forums during our 10 weeks, and we really had remarkable discussions with a group of our students. We had about 80 people registered online, and it was remarkable, and it was so powerful that we're going to be bringing some of that information forward during the Ignite program.
And guys, I will definitely have not only more information after the fact, after we're finishing, which we only have a few more minutes left, Kelly, by the way, but I also will put down here in our little description a link that you can use so you can come and explore what Kelly's talking about this Ignite in December. Kelly, any last comments or suggestions or ideas you want to share with us?
You know, I mean, this whole topic about receivership, I just want to back up into that for just a second. I just want to go back to that because I think it is just, to me, it's so profound when we find the truth of reconnective healing and the frequencies of being this catalyst to someone else's receivership of healing. And in return for that, we receive our own benefits, not just the financial benefit, but also our own benefit of soaking the frequencies, and how that concept is universal, as I talked about before. And I just want everyone out there to just kind of think about that and really recognize that one of the great one of my favorite sections that we did in the Living in the Frequency series is that we talked all about this concept of self-worth and how it shifts when we really get to the universal truth of the core value of all of us, in all of us. So just, I want everyone to kind of hold on to that and give a thought to joining us in one of our extended programs, whether it's Ignite in December, which I hope everybody will, or if you're an alumni and you'd like to join us in our next Living in the Frequency series. We're going to be presenting that soon. It's going to be actually presented in multiple languages too this next year, we hope. We're looking forward to doing it again in English, and so we hope you join us for that as well. So yeah, that's what I have. Thanks.
Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. My pleasure. Always glad to chat.
Thank you. Aha! And I'm back. And I want to let you know that this was a truly amazing moment with Kelly. Sorry that I was trying a little bit to figure out the sound. It didn't come through. Thank you to Cecilia Sams who noticed that and helped me try to figure it out. Uh, I'm noticing here a few comments in our chat, and they have some really good points about the Ignite back in April. Thank you, Lexi, and thank you, Jennifer. Yes, you guys, I remember you. You guys were there. Welcome, Alejandro. Welcome to as well, Marina. Marina, it's going to be in Spanish next Tuesday. Lo tendremos en español el martes que viene. Welcome to all of you guys. And again, keep your messages coming because this is how we know how you're liking the program. And we're running out of time completely. I know that was a great conversation with Kelly. And I have to take us now to the final screen, which is this one. Woohoo! I love this screen. I want to remind you that everything we've talked about, you can find in our description right here below. There are going to be links that take you to our blog where you're going to see about the 5 keys to receivership. I encourage you to really read through that amazing blog. And here, sorry, I'm going to point in the other direction. Right here, we have a free audio narration that you can avail yourself to. Our amazing Martin Haley Jr. has created a link just for us. Again, he's in the description below. Go find out more about this. There's also information about Ignite coming up that I'm just going to leave there for you to explore at your own convenience. Take a snapshot or just use the replay and view it again and write the information down. And if you just want the shortcut, I also put the shortcut down below. So you can go and just click away. Thank you to the entire Reconnection team, specifically Cecilia Sams, who's been helping me today, as always, with the chat. And with all my love, see you next week.